Hey guys, welcome to the 7th episode of the Awarenezzz Podcast. Today we are here with our guest Kristian Kold. Tell us about yourself, how are you?
I'm good. I'm Kristian, I'm 22 years old. I'm from Denmark and I just transferred here to Indiana Tech.
Hey man, run us a little bit about that volleyball process. How did you start? How everything started developing for you, man?
So I started playing when I was like 6 years old because my dad played volleyball, and then he kind of took me to the gym. He was told that if I wanted to play, then he would need to coach a different team in order for me, for the club to have space for me. So I started playing there, played for like a while. Didn't think much of it, but then I went to boarding school when I was like 16, 17, and then honestly my whole life flipped. Started just having volleyball as the only thing in mind, and ever since I've played in the best Danish league for 4 years. Then I came to Ohio State last year, and now I transferred into Indiana Tech.
So you're saying your dad was your coach?
He did not coach me. He coached a different team, but that made space for the club, in order for them to have me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And how important was it to have your dad as a volleyball player? Do you think that was the main factor for you to start playing volleyball?
Yeah, I would never have started if it wasn't for him. I was trying soccer, but I was terrible at soccer. So, no, he's the reason why I started, and for the longest time, the reason why I kept playing. But now it's my passion, it's my goal, it's all the dreams that I have in life are about volleyball.
Is it normal to start with 6 years old, or is it other people start later? Or?
I feel like in Europe it's pretty common to start younger. I know in the States they start in high school, but in Europe I feel like it's pretty common to start younger. And for the longest time it's not really volleyball, it's just getting some of the movements down. But then you start playing when you're 12, 13, 14 years old.
Okay, and how was it? Because I suppose Denmark is not a very big volleyball country.
No.
So how was it for you playing that sport in a country that maybe doesn't recognize it as a big sport?
Yeah, soccer and handball is the biggest sports in Denmark and that part of Europe. So I don't know, we never got a lot of recognition. I wouldn't say that I played very good, so I wouldn't expect that recognition at the time, but it's just different. You're not used to money being involved back home or anything, because that's just soccer and handball.
Yeah. But also you played in the highest league, you said. For example, if you play in the highest league in football, everyone would be like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
with volleyball, it's probably not the case.
People don't think people don't care about you playing in the best league in Denmark for volleyball, because okay, you don't play soccer, you don't play handball, it don't matter.
Okay. Was it frustrating for you sometimes, or was it you don't care?
I don't really care about it. I don't know. I like to work when people are not watching me, because that's when I have the best time. So for volleyball not to have any recognition at all back home it's not a big deal.
Okay. And can you run us a little bit through the things that you were doing, the trainings that you were doing, how you started developing? Okay, so you started from 6 years old. Mm-hmm. How you started getting better? What were those things that started making you better?
Going to that boarding school, there's a year where you live on your own, so to say. Where
is a boarding school in Denmark?
Yeah. So it's in Denmark. It's you live away from your parents.
Okay.
There's a bunch of teachers taking care of you. You live under school, and then you have morning practice. You go to school, and then you have practice in the evening too.
Is that sport specific?
Yeah, sport specific. Okay. Yeah. So that kind of changed a lot for me. Started doing that. Then I came back, went to high school, did the same thing. Twice. I had morning practice twice in the morning, and then I had practice in the evening, almost every day, and that changed a lot for me. Also, putting on some muscle, some weight, changed a lot for me. I was 135. And now I'm 190, 195, so that changed a lot.
135 as a big man, right?
As a 6'7" dude, yeah, it's pretty skinny, yeah.
Okay. And so you grabbed those habits that were already bring to you in the boarding school, and you started applying it afterwards.
Yeah, taking the gym more serious, making plans for yourself, trying to develop in the gym, and then just keep showing up to practice every day.
Okay, I think most people just need to start building those foundations.
Yeah.
Something that change those habits, and they just grab it for the rest of their life. Now you have those foundations. You know what to do in order to succeed, in order to do well in different areas of your life.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a big part of an athlete, you know, because I see a lot of guys here in college that they don't really have those foundation, those habits.
Yeah.
So when they come here, they don't eat right, they don't sleep well, and that's why they underperform sometimes. But then you said that the boarding school helped you grab those habits, those foundations, and from there is when you started seeing the most progress.
Oh,
right?
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, a lot of the guys on the team call me grandpa because I go to bed at like 9, 10 o'clock. But I'm also one of the only ones who's been to every single practice this fall. Like, you know, I haven't been injured, like stuff like that. So I feel like I was never the best. I'm never the best in my opinion, but I just keep showing up. That's what I think is most important. Like, because if you just stay consistent, it'll come with the time.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think it's a good mindset to say you're never the best. Of course, it's always important to stay confident, but not letting it to your head. Like,
No.
But like it's gonna help you in practice, like to think you always have something to improve on.
To stay humble.
Yeah. I mean, it don't matter to me where I am. I will always come to practice because that's my goal. I know what I have to do in order to get where I want to get. So, yeah, you can't slack on that.
And what keeps you, like, because a lot of people find trouble to stay consistent, probably because, I mean, it's hard for somebody to see results the next day, you know? There's a process that has to go through that. What do you do to stay motivated or to stay consistent and put in the work every day?
I mean, motivation comes and goes, but like discipline is what will get you through it. So like, I don't know, man, my dad was in the military. He always taught me like to be disciplined. I didn't pick it up at first, but when my life really changed, like I got better volleyball and like better in school, I was when I stayed disciplined. So, you know, don't always want to do it, but you have to. Like, it's just a mindset. Like motivation, you know, everybody got motivation. Like when it's New Year's Eve, like, you know, it's a new year. Oh, 2025, this is going to be the year. Like, okay, whatever. What about March, February? Like, what about when we get to there? So, yeah.
I heard a quote the other day. It was like, the work starts when you lose your motivation. Because when you're motivated, you're excited to do it. You want to. It's fun. It's fun to you. You know, like you want to do it.
Yeah.
But there's always that cycle that you lose that motivation because you realize how much work it goes through it.
Yeah.
And that's when you start doing the stuff at that point is when you start seeing the progress and everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of people they don't see the reward immediately, so they lose that motivation, they lose that consistency because they think they're not getting rewarded for what they're doing. But the truth that it actually takes time, right?
Yeah, no, if you want to stand out in college, or I mean just in general, I feel like probably easier to get away with in high school, but like in college, like you can't like just be there in periods. Like you gotta be there all the time. Because like otherwise there's somebody else who's gonna grab your spot. Like no, like the consistency is the most important thing.
And you also mentioned like motivation comes and goes, and like the new year is coming now to 2025. But I never understood like people like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna start next year." Like, if you're really motivated for something, why would you wait and not just do it now? It's like there's not gonna be anything different in 1 month.
Because I think if you pick up the habits, if you pick up the consistency, the discipline, in the moments where you're less motivated, then at those moments that you're motivated, it's gonna be way easier.
Yeah.
So starting in difficult moments is probably the best scenario. Than what most people say. Oh no, I'll wait until I feel better to start doing something. It's kind of like saying I'll wait until I'm skinny to start going to the gym. Like there's people's always looking for that perfect scenario, but the truth is that if you start doing it now, like it's probably the best way possible. Because you're gonna pick it up faster and better. Yeah,
that's also like what I saw from the D1 level to an AI level. Like I feel like I have different teammates depending on the day here. Okay. Like you have some people that shows up, they're in a good mood.
Yeah.
I'm ready to play today. Tomorrow, nah, I'm not feeling it. It's early in the morning, you know, I don't want to go.
Okay.
I mean, D1 level, everyone shows up every day on the line, like at the time they're supposed to be there, and they're giving full effort. Like, I feel like that's probably the biggest. So, I mean, if you want to go big time, then you got to be consistent every day because your teammates are going to be it. And your coach is going to notice it, so.
And how do you handle, like, of course you know that you have to put your work, but how do you handle those cases when you probably don't feel your teammates are putting in the same as you? Is it frustrating for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've always played with guys that are a lot older than me because, like, playing back home, semi-pro, like, we had some pros coming over from the States.
Yeah.
Like, they would call people out. So, like, as of right now, with a very young team, I feel like I'm in a position where people are often looking at what I do. So if I don't set the tone and don't, like, not call people out, but, you know, get people, like, on the right mindset, then we're not going to succeed as a team. Again, I'm not saying I'm the best at all. I'm just saying, like, I feel like I've seen what you have to do in order to get to a high level.
And you're doing it, which is the most important part. Like, you're showing up every practice. If you were not showing up every practice, but then you talk to other guys that they should show up every practice, then it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
But you're putting in the work, you go in every practice, and I think that's the best way to teach. Of course, you have to call them out sometimes, but you also have to walk the talk, whatever
it's called. Yeah.
It also shows even more like the discipline. Like some people would say, I mean, if he doesn't train at 100%, why should I train?
Yeah. No, I think that's like one of the most important things to like stand by your word. Like, because if you're not trustworthy, then like who's gonna listen to you?
Yeah, and you mentioned your dad a lot. I want to go back to that. You mentioned he was in the military, and then he of course was a volleyball player. What were those lessons that you picked from him that has really helped you in this process? I mean, I guess there are a lot, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like even though he like wouldn't always like watch my game, he would still be able to tell me like what aspect I can like do better when I was talking about stuff that wasn't going my way. So I feel like just being a big mentor, like also in the recruiting process, like always listen to him, what he said, and like I don't know, just a guy who knows a lot. I feel like
just putting you in the ground, like whenever you felt like you were doing something right, maybe he told you some stuff you needed to get better.
Yeah, no, it can never be. That's probably what I bring on the court the most. I'm never satisfied with anything that I do, because like I'll always go back to that mask and be like, oh, what do you think about this? And just like put up 10 kills in the game. It's like you still didn't at this point. I was like, oh.
Yeah. And does he still do it now?
Yeah, like every time.
Every time? That's nice, man. And then that you talked about the boarding school. That was a very big change for you. From what moment did you start to realize, okay, I'm very good in volleyball? Like I can do something out of this.
Probably like going to that boarding school, coming back. I mean, a lot of good things happened, but I still wasn't feel like I was good or anything. But then playing a couple of years on that team, when I came back, then I transferred to another club, which is closer to Copenhagen, in my last year before going to the States, and that was like the year when I started to play, like starting to have an impact on the game, and I was like, okay, this is fun, this could maybe get me somewhere, and that was when like schools in the States reached out to me, and that was when I was like, okay, this is nice.
So you never had that goal in mind of coming to the States to play?
I mean, I did, but once you start playing better, then more schools started talking to me.
Okay.
So was that like your own realization, just like from like others, different point of views? Like maybe your coach told me like you can get professional.
I don't know. I feel like when I played my old team at their place, and I had a pretty good game, I was like, okay, this is nice, because like these guys are people that I used to compete against to get a spot on the court, and it didn't really happen for a couple of years. So I was like, okay, maybe the table turned or whatever. But I mean, I still like those guys a lot. So it's not like it's like a hate relationship at all. It's like okay, like I proved myself wrong. So.
Then tell us a little bit about volleyball itself, because like I suppose a lot of people know the sport. As me, I mean, I've always heard volleyball. Everybody's heard volleyball. But for example, for me, before coming here, I had never seen volleyball at a high level. Yeah. And I didn't have a good understanding of the positions, of what each player has to do. But like for all the people, like volleyball at a high level is way different than what I used to play, like in PE, which is the idea like a lot of people have. Yeah. So you're outside hitter, right?
Yeah.
Like what goes inside that position? What are your What do you have to do in the pitch?
Yeah, I mean, I used to play opposite, which is like the right side of the court, where you just your main purpose is just to like hit the ball hard, serve the ball hard, block, like put up a big block. But I was like, you know what? I'm actually not that big.
Just power.
So, yeah, I was like, you know, I'm not that big, so I might just go and play outside, which is a little more like, you know, you're involved in a lot of aspects of the game. You're passing with your other outside and your libero, and then you're serving just like almost everyone on the court. You're blocking, and then you're hitting, and you're often the guy who will get not the perfect balls, but like the balls that we just like show up down there, where it's like out of system. It's like somebody else setting the ball is not perfect, so you're kind of like the trash can, so to say.
Okay.
But you do a bit of everything, and I like it a lot.
So it makes a difference in the side of the pitch that you're in.
It does. Yeah.
Okay, so because I would imagine that. I mean, the outside is the one on the left, and the opposite is the one in the right.
Yeah.
So I thought like you guys got like the same function, but just in opposite sides, no?
No, usually the right side does not pass the ball, which is like the biggest one, and
so he just stays like in the top. You go a little bit more.
No, he'll rotate to the back, but he won't pass the ball. We'll take him out of passing.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of like the biggest difference.
Does every team play the same system, or about the same system?
More or less, yeah. I mean, in this league, you can like switch a lot of players. You don't, you have unlimited subs, so you can just do whatever you want, kind of. But in international volleyball, you can't do that. So usually, like an opposite or right side will be at least 2 meters, 6'7" or above. But an outside can be a little smaller than that. So,
Okay. And have you, like you mentioned, you did opposite and now you're outside.
Mm-hmm.
Do you plan to stay like that?
Yeah.
Like there's not much change in the volleyball position?
It's hard to change at the age of 22.
Okay.
Because like there's so many fundamentals that you need to get down.
Because what we did in PE class was that like you just rotated through every position, and that's what I thought happened here, that you had to.
No.
Because my teacher used to tell me that was a rule. Like,
it is, but there's also a rule that you can change while the play is going on, and that's what we do. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't see myself setting the ball in the future or being in the middle. No.
Also, like a big change in practice, going from like on the right side to the left side.
Learning how to pass was pretty big. That's like the biggest one because it's so technical. It involves like 3 people, which is the most of any like movement on the court except triple blocking, but that doesn't happen very often. So, and I mean, you have to communicate before every ball comes your way because like, is it a float serve? Is it going on your right? Is it going on your left? Like, who do you want to take this seam of the court and stuff like that? So, there's a lot going into it.
And something I really admire about volleyball is the fact that every time after you guys miss a play, you lose a point, like you huddle up, and then you just like dab each other up, like give each other motivation. That's something like I found very interesting. Like, is that something that's always taught in volleyball?
I mean, I've never played on a team where we don't do it. So
and also like the bench is like always like cheering.
Yeah. Like the bench is always screaming, always singing a chant.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like volleyball is. I know in the States, especially, there's a lot of basketball guys who turn towards volleyball because the environment is so different. Like people actually like take care of you, and they like think about you as a person, not only like you as a player. I feel like it's a very good community. I've been fortunate to play on a lot of good teams, and a lot of my very best friends have been on those teams too. So
Just seeing the comparison between, for example, football. Like if you're on the bench, you're like, damn, I want to go on the pitch. Like you're like jealous about the guys like actually playing. And they probably not cheer for you like the guys on the bench.
No.
And then if you concede a goal, nobody's like dabbing each other up, like they shout at each other.
Like when you make a mistake, you don't see like guys coming to you, and of course some of them might give you some words, but it's not something you see very often.
No.
Like how important do you feel that is, for example, for volleyball? If you make a mistake and you have a group of players that just come here and give you motivation just to keep going, that is fine.
I feel like that's what it should be like. I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like it's that individual volleyball. Like if you don't play as a team, you won't win as a team. So and nobody can take over a game entirely or a season. I mean, you can have players who can take over a set and ball out, but you won't win a season or like 10 games if you just have one player. So.
And I think also knowing that everybody like keeps encouraging you even if you like screw up, it takes a lot of like pressure.
It's like it gives you confidence that even though if you make a mistake, you're still gonna have a group of players that's gonna back you up instead of making you feel worse about it. Mm-hmm. And also your coach, I see always the coach giving motivation, like always cheering up. And I think that's something like many sports should pick up because it's that positive reinforcement that you're getting even though you make a mistake. So I think a lot of other sports like they demonize the fact of making a mistake and the truth that people are gonna make a mistake. Yeah. But instead in volleyball, but what I see is that they cheer you, they tell, and you almost forget about it because people are almost happy. So you think that like you see they're happy, they're cheering up for you. So you just want to keep going and keep trying because you see there's nothing bad,
No, I mean there's maybe like 140 points that you play in the game. If you get mad after 1 point, then it's a long game, right?
Yeah.
So you really can't like zone out like that. So.
Also in the end, everyone on the team tries to give their best. It's not like they're gonna screw up on purpose.
No, it's really hard. I feel like volleyball, like technique-wise, it's very hard, but like communication-wise, it's super hard too.
Okay.
Because there's so many aspects to the game where if you mess up in the communication, like you're screwed. So.
And everything happens so fast. It's just like 3 passes and a hit. So communicating in that fast. Like in that short amount of time must be very hard, right?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it is like, you know what you do before, but you also get situations where it's like, what are we going to do here? Well, I have to communicate to my setter in order for him to know what ball to put up.
And also with your movements, you communicate something, right?
Yeah.
So if you go to a certain spot, the other guy knows what you want to do and everything, right?
Is there one position on the pitch or like one player who communicates the most?
I mean, your setter, that's like your quarterback on the team. So if he doesn't talk, then you're screwed because you gotta let him know what play you're running, but he also got to show you, like you got signs that shows what you're running, so you don't have to let the opponents know.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I believe the setter also wants to like confuse the opponent.
Yeah.
So you need to have something so they confuse the opponent but don't confuse you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to see like you started getting better in the boarding school. Now you came to America. How was that process of coming to America after playing in some very good teams in your country?
Yeah, so I mean, I had that decent season back home. I was fortunate enough to work out a little bit with the national team. We went to Turkey with the youth national team and played down there, which was very nice. And then, I had, a good amount of schools reached out to me, and then ended up going back and talked to Ohio State again. I used my agent for that, and then ended up committing there and going there to Columbus, Ohio. And coming to the U.S. just for the first time in general was wild. Going to the biggest school in the States was insane. And there's just, I feel like I could write a book about that first year. There were so many things happening,
because you come from a small town, right?
Yeah, 60, 70,000 people, something like that.
Imagine, in Ohio State as well, like 60,000
students.
Imagine.
Yeah, it's like a city of 1.5 million people, so it's a lot, yeah.
So it's like 4 times, the university itself was 4 times your city.
About the same amount, probably. Like on the size?
Like size-wise, it's the biggest in the U.S. Like the campus is the biggest in the States.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it hard for you to adapt at the beginning, or did you find it easy?
I feel like the language was fairly easy, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the beginning that I've never seen before, never tried before.
Yeah.
The way that we're coached and stuff like that, I was like not surprised, but I was like, okay, this is different. Like I have to adapt to it. And you're going into one of the best D1 gyms in the whole country for men's volleyball. 3 national championships in the past 15 years, and it's pretty wild because you're used to back home being like a big guy at 6'7", but then you come over and you're just one of 8. You're just one of 8. outsides who's 6'7" or above, and it's like, okay, I guess I'll have to.
And what was your like mindset going through that, like realizing that you were average in terms of height, but also like the level was very big and you had to adapt to it? What was your mindset coming through that?
I mean, at first you try just to do what you did at home, like,
Yeah.
you know, be the guy, so to say, but then you realize that there's a lot of very, very good players, and then I kind of switched into like just taking the chance when it's there.
Okay.
Because I mean, to be honest, like once you get into sixes and you're not a starter, not even close to being a starter, then like it's not very often that you even play in practice. So once you get that chance, once the stars are done playing and like they leave it out for you to play, then it's like, okay, I gotta grab my chance now. I gotta like prove myself.
Okay.
And how was it like with the competition in the team? Like you just mentioned, like there's a lot of support from all the guys, but also on the high level, is it different there?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say so. I feel like a lot of those guys there had like a brother, like we had a brotherhood as a team, and a lot of those guys are like each other's best friends. No, I mean, we would go out, have fun as a team, no matter if you're playing or not. Like, I would say I was surprised about that, but with the people that was in the program, it didn't surprise me because there's a bunch of good people in that program.
Okay, so even though you guys were fighting for a spot and everything, like there was like this brotherhood kind of situation that you guys had. So it was always like the support and everything you find from them.
Yeah, no, like there's never anyone talking about whether or not playing or like being mad at you because you're playing instead of me. Like honestly, I feel like there's more of that here than there was at.
Okay.
I was like, and
Surprising that, yeah.
I mean, that might just be because of the people. I mean, I like the people here too a lot. It's not like that. It's just, I don't know. It was an older team. It was a team I've been through a lot. That like kind of like recreated the culture.
Probably they're more used to that higher level. Like they're more mature.
Yeah. A lot of matureness. Some seniors that did a very, very good job of like teaching the younger guys how to be in a program like that.
Some people might imagine that the higher level people are like more arrogant, like they're more to themselves. But what you can see most of the times is that those people actually know how things are, and they don't like it's normal for them, so they don't have to act different to.
Yeah, but I mean it also comes down to like what people you're playing with. Like I don't know, man. I think like fame can definitely change you, like getting more money and whatever. But honestly, if you stay calm and like do whatever your parents taught you, then shouldn't be a problem to be a nice person, even though you're playing at a very high level.
Stay to your principles, to your values and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
And you also mentioned like it's the biggest US like university in the US. Was it hard to like always stay focused on volleyball and like academics, or you been good with that?
Like the school like partying and stuff like that.
Yeah, all the stuff around.
I mean, there's definitely like you can be sure on there's always a big party going on. Like somewhere in the school, always a big party. But I don't know. Like I feel like I had a very good room. My room was great. I had some great roommates, and we like had fun inside of the room. But it wasn't like I don't know. I don't feel like you're getting like trapped to do stuff that you don't want to do.
Okay. So you could like you didn't have any trouble to manage like the academic, the social, and also the athletic part of it?
No. I mean, I don't know. It might be different from American people. I don't know. If that's your dream all your life to go to a school like Ohio State, that might be the time where you're like, oh, now I need to go out and party and frat parties and whatnot. But I don't know. Maybe it's also because I didn't get a lot of invitations. Like I was not really friends with those people, so I was not trying to go out. But
just thinking like you coming from a small city, and then you come to the US, like huge city, and then you want to experience everything.
Yeah, some people get overwhelmed about it.
Yeah, I mean there definitely is some people who does that. But again, if you stay calm, like do what your parents taught you, it won't be a problem. Like,
did you have any mental framework just to like stay focused in your athletics and also in the academics? Like, did you have anything you told yourself or any motivation you had for that?
I mean, usually your coach will put out a pretty like strict guideline for your academics. So like, if you don't do it, then you'll just get like thrown out of practice, or you'll get banned from going to practice even or whatever. So That was pretty straightforward. It was like, just do it. You'll be fine. It's not that hard. Athletics, like, show up.
Yeah.
Put in the effort that's needed. I mean, it was hard though, because like you get there like 7:15, and then you practice from like 7:30, 7:45 until like 11:30.
Okay. So it's in 4 hours of practice.
Yeah, I mean two and a half, almost like 3 hours of volleyball, and then you go to the gym after.
Okay. So. And then like you're talking about 4 hours of practice, and then also you have, apart from that, you had to do your school.
Mm-hmm.
How did you manage your time? Did you have any specific?
I mean, volleyball in the morning, school in the afternoon. That's pretty straightforward. Honestly, it's not too bad. I also don't have the hardest major in the world, so like I can't talk for those mechanical sports management.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't talk for those mechanical engineers, whatever. Like, I don't know what that's like, but I mean, having a major like that is pretty. It's not easy, but you know, if it gets hard, it's because you're making it hard on yourself for not doing your stuff.
Yeah. You didn't have any trouble managing your time and everything.
No, but you definitely have to pay attention to it, because otherwise it'll get out of hand. And with the amount of assignments that there is, then you'll get behind pretty fast.
And then will also affect your athletic part, right?
Yeah, no, like coaches care a lot about your academics, like, because especially for volleyball, like there's not a lot of people who make money for the rest of their life. There's like not even a 1%. Like, so you gotta pay attention to your academics.
Okay, and then also like not only like your coaches, what your coaches require from you, but also if you're stressed about your grades and everything, they probably could affect you in the moment of playing, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like taking that, like if you take that stress off, you can perform better at your, because you're not thinking about anything else, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play last year, redshirted, but no, having that like taken away from your mind it's a lot easier to perform in your sport for sure.
So it's like good to have a coach who holds you accountable, like for your school.
Yeah. I mean, you'll thank them afterwards. I already feel like I know that now, and I'm only a sophomore, so you know, academics are very important. And the fact that you're like getting paid to go here, like they're paying for a part of your tuition, it's pretty unique.
You should do something for that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a way to thank them in some way.
Yeah, and I mean, not everyone gets that. Like it's pretty expensive to go to school, so the fact that they're paying for you is it's pretty nice.
Totally, man. Yeah. And then your transition coming here, how have you find it? I mean, of course, the weather, you're probably used to it because also you come from Denmark.
Yeah.
But then, is there any other aspect you find different, like to adapt and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be a lot different because you go from the biggest school to a school of about 2,000 or 3,000 people on campus.
Yeah.
The budget for the team is probably also shrink down quite a lot. But honestly, like I still like the people here. The people are great. The coaches are great. Program is very nice, and I mean when like it all comes down to you doing your laundry yourself and like not getting LeBrons, it's all right. Like you'll survive. Like it's okay. Like you get used to that treatment pretty fast, but I mean, it's like coming back here, it's just like realizing that what life is all about. It's not about getting free stuff and stuff. I mean, it's nice, but you can definitely live without it. So.
What was your criteria when you searched like for a new university? Do you want to have like something smaller to like?
I mean, honestly, I didn't even look what the campus looked like before coming here. I didn't care about like anything regarding that. I cared about being like the guy for my team, or at least giving myself the chance to be that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, getting a good scholarship, which makes it easier.
Okay. Yeah. What are your motivations right now? What are those things that keep you motivated this year, this season coming?
This season in particular would be, honestly, to get the culture where it should be, like set the tone for the future. Because I mean, I got 4 more years. I'm not trying to chase national. I mean, obviously, I want to win a national championship, conference championship. That's pretty obvious. But I think if we are going to do that in the future, we have to set the tone and like, you know, create a culture that will win in the future. So that's probably the most important
so
for me.
you're planning for the long term.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you want to achieve something that big, you need to start with the culture.
Mm-hmm.
You need to think long term.
Yeah.
Because if you start thinking like trying to win it as soon as possible, like most of the time it's not gonna be good. Because if you don't win it this first year, then you're probably gonna lose motivation and lose you're probably not gonna be as consistent.
Yeah.
And that's like what you're trying to do is kind of like a hard job. What challenges have you faced along the way to change that culture?
I mean, coming in from a very big program and a European culture that's pretty different, trying to enforce some of that has definitely had people react, react to it. I would just say react to it because, people are not used to that. People come from all over the world and some people don't like it. Well,
what would you say is the biggest culture difference between Europe and
between Europe and I would say the food. I feel like everyone says the food, but definitely last year I put on like 10 pounds the first semester because like the food was good, but not good for you.
So it also like
good in terms of taste.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also like the point you said, like some people don't like think like, oh, what is he saying to me? Like when you do it in practice.
What was that?
Like you said, like you want to change the culture, like bringing some stuff from the Europe culture, and like in practice, how do you think is the cultural difference between Europe and USA?
I feel like in Europe, people their reactions are more like loud and like more feelings involved. Where here, it's more like we just have a coach and we know he's gonna tell us what to do and we're just gonna listen to that.
Okay.
Well, the coach is not playing. I mean, I'm listening to him. Of course, I am, but he's not in the moment. He can't see it all.
Okay.
So like if I know for a fact that I'm slower than you when we run in the lifting gym, but you're not putting in your full effort when we're running in the volleyball gym, then like I'm gonna call you out because you're not putting in the effort that's needed.
For me, it's like I'm from Germany, so in coming here, like you said, like I think like the coach has the plan and then we just do what he tells us. But they don't hold themselves like accountable. Like I think in Europe or like how it is in Germany, there are like 5 guys on the team who like take accountability so that the tone is right, like the temperature and the practice is right, and the intensity is good. But here, like if the practice is not too good, like the people wait for the coach to tell us something.
To say they wait for the coach to say the practice wasn't good. Which, like, if you're a high performance athlete, you have to know your performance when you're performing well, when you're not. Not even that, but when you're giving everything to perform at your best, like you have to know that. And I've also found that here, like there are some guys that don't hold themselves accountable. And as you mentioned, that's being one of the biggest challenges you face, and probably you've had like bad responses to it.
Times,
Do you even care?
No, because I feel like at this point, I don't know. I feel like I've seen quite a lot. Like I played on a lot of different teams, and you'll have to put up some very good arguments to, for me to flip my view on what's right and what's not right, like effort wise at least.
Like you already have your values well structured.
I feel like I know what's up, like regarding that.
And also I think a lot of people here take it personal if you shout at them in practice, but in the end you want to make them better and the team better. It's not like they should take it personal. Like,
no.
They should,
no, that's a big misunderstanding. Like people say, oh, it's not personal, and I mean it's not, and we can be friends after. But in here, there's money involved in this. Like you got to do your very best.
Like people take it for granted sometimes.
That's. I mean, I don't care about your talent at all.
And definitely a big point for me is also like it's a limited time. We have 4 years. Like playing, like allowed to play. And if you just waste 1 year, like you said, you have to start now with the setting up the culture, like intensity in training.
And I like that because you have like a big mission, like a long-term vision, changing that. And like for those people that maybe don't take it as well, how do you manage those situations?
I mean, I'm not a captain of the team, but But I don't know. I mean, I feel like the coach will give you like a certain amount of chances, and he'll take care of that. Like, but at one point, if you just don't put in the effort, then I won't care either. Like, you do you, because the team is going to move on.
Just you. I think at some point you have to like. Of course, you can try to encourage them, but at some point you have to like say, okay, if he doesn't get the point, after the fifth time, it's not gonna have any.
And I think this is not gonna affect the environment of the team at the end, because people will start realizing that maybe that person is not putting in the work. Like at some point, you know.
But pay attention as an athlete, because if your coach stops talking to you, or your teammates stop talking to you, well, then something is probably wrong, because they're getting tired of like calling you out and you're not changing anything.
And also like one big difference, I don't want to call out the Americans, like I'm very happy to be here, but I think there's some lack of respect in every aspect. Like you said, like showing up late to practice, then like talking while the coach is talking, and I don't know, when you come to the senior level in Germany, the young, like when you come up, you have to do everything. You have to hand out the bibs, you have to give them back, you have to collect the cones and everything. But here, after practice, they just sit down and drink.
Yeah, I mean, Europe is big, but Germany is definitely known for the discipline, and I feel like that's an aspect that you can definitely translate over here in a positive way, because like, I don't know, man, if you don't have to be the best to be on good teams, because if you just stay disciplined, keep showing up, and you're not a person that the coach is like having to worry about in a way of like, what are they doing now? Why are they not doing this? Like, you'll be fine. You'll be in some very good teams.
And that all comes down to building a culture, right? Because if you don't have that culture and having those big goals as being national champion, as I don't know, whatever a big goal means to you, like it's gonna be almost impossible, or you maybe possible for 1 year, but you're not gonna be able to sustain it. So it all comes down to that culture and changing the mindset of the players. And of course, you're not gonna be able to change every player, every mindset, but the ones that are gonna change it are gonna be the ones that are gonna make the difference. Like some guys are just gonna be left behind, and probably that's what needs to happen, you know.
I think the advice I said before, like just doing the stuff like what the coach tells you and keep showing up. I think it's a very good advice, because if you watch like every sports team, they don't have every athlete doesn't show out, like or point out. So if you just do the stuff what the coach tells you, like over a long period of time, you're gonna see improvement in yourself, and also more. The coach gives you reinforcement.
Yeah, I mean, my goal was never to get to Ohio State, Indiana Tech, or work out with the national team or youth national. My goal was just like, man, this is like what I do. This is what I like to do. So I'm gonna stay committed to it, and I feel that's what you should do. I feel like a lot of people say that. A lot of people say, just do what you love to do, whatever. But like, honestly, if that's what you want to do, then keep doing it, and then the results will come. Like. You can look back, and I don't think a single person ever would say that I was gonna play on these good teams or whatever it was, but I should just keep showing up.
Yeah, especially in a team sport, it's hard to say like set a clear goal, like I want to go to Ohio State. Because you can get injured. You come into a team maybe where the team chemistry is very bad, and you can't even perform at your best. So
like there are so many intangibles, so many things you cannot control, that like focusing on too big of an outcome kind of doesn't make sense. So you have to break it down. Okay, what are the things that go into getting to that outcome? So most of the times, like what helps people is not focusing on the outcome, but on the things that they have to do to get there, right? That's what you mentioned. Like you just stay committed, you show up to practice every day, you do your thing, do what the coach tell you, and then the outcome is gonna come, regardless how specific it is, regardless is going to Ohio State, going to Indiana Tech, going to playing in the national team. Like if you do the right stuff, the things are gonna happen,
For sure. Now we talked about Ohio State and Indiana Tech. How was it like to come to the national team? I think as an athlete, it's probably the biggest thing you can achieve?
Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate enough to be invited to practice with the national team. I didn't play for the national team.
The youth national
team. I did play for the youth national team. It was my last shot ever to go on the youth national team. I was not even close to getting on the first couple of times, but it ended up turning out in a good way by me making it there. We went to Turkey, and honestly, like, that's one of the craziest memories that I have with volleyball, because at the time, it was like 2 years ago, we were playing Ukraine, and I mean, they're a very, very good team, but before that, we were doing our national anthems, and we line up, and this was just when Ukraine went to war, actually. They just got invaded by Russia, or occupied, whatever, and we were standing there, and they're playing the Ukrainian national anthem. They play it, and then they play the short version.
Yeah.
So they play the short version, but the Ukrainian, like the team, they just kept on singing. And it was just standing there, like, empty arena, because it was also like around COVID, empty arena, just them sing their song or national anthem, and we look at them, and it's just like what I saw in their eyes was just insane, man. It was like these guys that have family back home that are going to war right now, and they can't really do much, and they're standing here and just singing without any music going on, and just empty arena. It was like, wow, like, it was so wild.
That's crazy, man. And like living the experience of playing for the like representing your country.
Yeah.
It must be like, I think for every athlete that has to be like the best experience ever at any level, you know.
I mean, you stand in your living room all your life when the games are going on. You're like, you know, hand on your chest, and you're like, this is so cool. Like, and then all of a sudden you actually do it, and it's like, wow, this is very amazing. That's all you think about when you're doing that for the first time. But then seeing that was like insane, right?
And also surrounding yourself with the best, you know. Yeah,
I mean, it was a very nice experience. Also, something that contributed a lot to my college recruitment, because like telling coaches that means a lot, because now they're like, okay, you're actually, you know, legit or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that actually helps a lot. Yeah, if you can get that under your belt. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. And like, it just also tells yourself that you're good. Like, when you get a call for a national team, you're like, okay, I'm doing something well, you know.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, you've always told us that I'm not the best and everything. You have to stay humble after that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you get pretty humble when you play the Turkish national team and they're all 6'8", 6'9", and they jump like twice as high as you. It's like, oh wow, they just hit over your block. You got nothing to do in there. Like, damn, okay. Like, you know, you're happy about being here and it's a nice experience, but okay,
there's some work to be done.
Yeah, and then you look up like Champions League, and then those guys just played in the Champions League before that. You're like, wow.
But youth Champions League or?
No, the actual Champions League. Like, you're like, damn. And I mean, now I turn on Champions League at times and I'm like, wow, I played against those guys. And even played with some of those guys too, because from last year, there's two guys who made it overseas, and they're playing in the Champions League now.
Do they get money when they play at that high level?
What's that?
Do they get money?
Yeah, they get a decent amount of payment, I would think, so at least.
So guys from Ohio State are playing right now overseas? Okay.
Yeah, playing in the, they just played each other in the Champions League, actually.
Okay.
So, yeah. And it's pretty wild to see guys that you play with, guys that you played against.
And no, man, it was really nice, like, hearing all your experiences, because you've been, like, come from another country, small town, whole different thing that here in the US, having a dad that put you inside volleyball, which was not a big sport there in Denmark, and then going up in level, getting better, just staying consistent, then making it here in the US, playing at a high level. And I think we got a lot of valuable experiences for you, man. Like, also you, like, your goal right now, trying to set up a culture. I think for people it's very important to, like, they want to achieve something, they have to start from the bottom, like from the back end.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot just look at the goal, because then you don't know where to start. But then you have to look it from the back and work it from the back until you get there. People think it's just easy and it happens fast, you know?
I mean, I've been for 16 years now, and I still go to practice every day and think, like, damn, why am I not better at this? Or, like, why am I not there yet? And then I remind myself it's a long process. Like, you can't just go in there and think that everything is going to happen overnight. Like, you gotta stay consistent for a long time.
Yeah, of course, man. Now, if you're fine with it, we'll have some rapid fire questions for you about volleyball.
Sure. Yeah.
Just to wrap it up.
Yep.
Do you have any favorite volleyball player of all time?
Favorite volleyball player of all time. I mean, I want to say a French guy, Urban Ingapit, because his attitude is so flashy and like people probably call him arrogant, but like you also can't deny the fact that he like did a lot of good stuff for the game. So yeah, probably him. Yeah.
What's your go-to hype song?
Go to a hype song. Probably. We've been listening a lot to this song in the car recently. It's Forever, Chris Brown. I don't know. It gets its hype. Yeah.
Do you listen to it before games or?
I wouldn't say before games. It's just to get in the good mood. Like.
Do you have any song before the games that you listen to, or you just not don't really pay attention to it?
It's been a while since I played the game.
That's true.
Yeah, I feel like I used to have a lot of like superstitions before a game, but now I'm trying to keep it more calm. Just let the game come to me and see what happens. So
I think that's a nice mindset, man.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it depends on what works for everybody.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes people do too much, you know.
Yeah.
And when they get too tied to the superstitions, then sometimes you cannot do that. And when you don't do that, then you might be inconsistent, you know.
Yeah.
So just maybe have a routine, but being able to change it, because like every time it's not gonna be the same.
No, it should be something like which can't go wrong. Like for my routine is like I always put like my left boot on first and then my right,
I do that
because there can't be anything.
Yeah. There's some people that do like 10 different styles, but then one of the things didn't go well and they're stressed about it and everything.
No, I mean I put my left foot, not my left foot on first, but my left shoe on first and sock, but that's about it.
Okay, so you put your sock and then your shoe first?
No, left sock, right sock, left shoe, right shoe.
Actually,
okay.
It's like for me.
I don't think about it, to be honest.
Like I put my left boot on,
Yeah.
Put my right boot on, tie my left boot, tie my right boot, and then that's my routine.
I don't really think about it, man.
No.
Do you? I mean, of course you do indoor volleyball, but which one do you enjoy the most, beach or indoor?
Indoor.
Indoor?
Yeah. I feel like I'm so slow in the sand.
Oh, it must be so tiring, man.
Yeah, I mean, I played a tournament this summer and I like crammed down in the sand.
I mean, for me, like I've sometimes played it for fun, but at a high level, beach volleyball has to be so tiring, man.
I don't know. I'm not very good at beach volleyball, but I mean, it's fun to play over the summer.
Is the net lower in beach volleyball?
No, it's the same height.
Really?
Yeah, it's the same height, yeah.
Probably a bit lower, like because you
Me too, man.
Yeah.
Like, man.
No, it's the same height, yeah.
And then what's your jersey number? Do you have a
Jersey, I mean, I used to play 14 back home. That's also the day I'm born, like the 14th of February. Then I had 20 last year. I had 1 before I took off to the States. Now I have like 31 or so. I don't know. If I could pick myself, it'll be 14.
14 because that was the day you were born?
And I don't know, it's just always been my like lucky number. So
Okay.
Do you always like you started with the 14 when you were young, or?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I could get it, I've had it ever since. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite post meal?
Post meal, like American version or European version?
Say both.
Say both. For my grandma's omelet, she does a very good job of that.
It must be good, huh?
It's very good.
The grandma's food is always the best.
Always. But I mean, if I could say here, it would probably be Cane's. My favorite is Cane's here. I love
Cane's?
Yeah, Raising Cane's.
Yeah. We tried it in Chicago. It was actually very nice.
Yeah, it's very good.
Because for chicken, I think it's probably the best one.
Yeah.
Because I had so much high expectations about Chick-fil-A, bro.
No, it's not it.
I think it's good, but
it was too basic, you know.
The chicken is good, but without the sauce, it just tastes.
It's just 2 pieces of bun and the chicken. But I mean, the sauce is good, but I don't think you can say a restaurant is crazy just based on the sauce, you know.
I mean, Cane's here or Chipotle. I like Chipotle a lot.
Chipotle for me.
Healthy. I mean, I would love to have that back home, but when I don't, Grandma's always very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you were playing volleyball, what sport would you play?
What sport would I play?
Yeah.
I mean, as I said in the beginning, I suck at soccer. I'm so bad at it. Basketball is too. I'm not big enough for basketball.
I mean, you're a good height for basketball.
Yeah, but I'm not big enough. Like, I'm not wide enough.
Okay.
You have to eat some omelets.
Yeah, more omelets. Maybe a handball, but you also kind of have to be big for a handball. But I feel like I feel like handball is fun.
Or handball average like bigger than you?
Probably way a little more.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So, I mean, I think I would like to play handball. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think is more satisfying, like spiking or blocking?
Like a game-winning block where you just go straight into your hands and then hit the floor before they hit the floor. That's the best ever. Like, and I'm saying this because I've talked a lot about this back home, but like, I feel like that's the most, like that's the coolest way of ending the game in any sport.
A block?
Like basketball, you can't, like the block is not as cool as basketball. Like volleyball is way cooler. Soccer, I mean, you can score a goal and people will go nuts about it, but like, you know, it's just like humiliating people by putting it. Like it looks so insane. Like when it hits the floor before they hit the floor, it's just one-on-one block. Yeah, that's the best ever.
I wouldn't imagine that, to be honest, man.
No, you gotta see that. It's crazy. It looks
it's just
crazy.
humiliating for
like just humiliating.
You're just bigger than him.
Yeah.
Like you feel so tiny after that if you get blocked like that.
And then what's the craziest atmosphere you've played in?
Atmosphere,
Or that you've been in a match, like?
Yeah. I mean, I played Turkey, Serbia, the Netherlands.
Oh, Serbia was great.
Yeah,
Serbia, it was like a preseason game, so there's not a lot of people.
Okay.
Some games back home maybe were
like rivalries?
Yeah, like I mean, probably honestly, that game I trained for club.
Yeah.
Played against my old team, which I played for that club for like 13 years.
Okay.
My family was there. It was a full crowd, a lot of people that I knew, and I mean, I didn't pay much attention to the atmosphere, but I was just so locked in on the game. But afterwards, like talking to everyone, I think I stayed in the gym for like maybe an hour or so. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a lot of trash talking involved in volleyball?
I feel so. Yeah, I feel like that. There is right now. Like people, also because there's a net in between, so you really can't get into a fight like that. But people like to talk. I don't know. I do it at times, and then when I'm told not to, I'm like, okay, can't do it too much because otherwise it'll take away from your game.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no, man, it was very nice talking to you, man.
Thank you.
I think a lot of valuable lessons we have here from somebody that has been experienced in the sport, that has come through different situations, different countries. I think a lot of the guys watching this would really enjoy and get a lot of value from it. So I really appreciate you for being here, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Hope everybody enjoyed it, and see you in the next one.